The Titanic didn't have enough, but we do, and we hope we'll never have to use them. Of course, I'm talking about our survival craft. Believe it or not, when the Titanic sank in 1912, it carried more lifeboats than was required by the law at the time. But there was not enough capacity for everybody on board. Times have changed since then, and so has the law. All passenger ships are now required to have enough survival craft with a total capacity that exceeds the number of persons on board the vessel. All of the ships in our fleets use a combination of lifeboats and life rafts to meet this requirement. In a minute, we're going to watch some of our lifeboat and life raft crew prepare and launch their survival crafts. But first, let's talk about safety. In an emergency, the safest place to be is on the ship. But if it becomes too dangerous to stay on board, the captain must make the decision to abandon ship. Launching survival craft and using them to evacuate the ship is a precision operation requiring both knowledge and teamwork from those crew who are responsible. Let's start with a lifeboat. Before launching a life-saving appliance, it's really important that crew members assigned to these craft are using their personal protective equipment, PPE, such as helmets, gloves, and safety belts, as required by their safety guidelines. To avoid any crush injuries to the occupants of the lifeboat, make sure that arms and hands are inside the boat before beginning the descent. To prevent injury to the occupants that have boarded your craft, ensure that all people are properly seated before lowering the craft.
Inflatable life rafts require a few more steps to launch. People who do not get into a survival craft should climb down the ladders or use descender devices to lower themselves to the water. But if those are not available, and as a last resort, they should jump into the water and then be pulled into the life raft. Do not jump directly into a boat or raft, as this can cause injury to those already inside and to yourself.
MES, or Marine Evacuation System, is something you will find on our newest ships, instead of regular life rafts. This is basically a very big life raft clustered together in groups of up to 4. Each cluster is served by a couple of embarkation chutes, so these rafts are actually already in the water, ready to use before you board them. All you have to do is slide down the chute. As you can see, this can be quite fun. All you have to do is make sure that you follow instructions, feet together, knees together, arms above your head, and down you go. And before you know it, you'll be in a safe raft. The order to board the life craft comes from the captain. He may give the order over the PA system for all to hear, or he may choose to give the order over the radio directly to the deck officers, who in turn will coordinate the boarding with each assembly station leader. The assembly station leader will make sure that the boarding is done in a controlled and orderly way. The safe boarding and seating of passengers in the boat or the life craft is controlled and supervised by the lifeboat or life raft commander. It is essential to follow the instructions given by the assembly station leader while lining up to board. Once you are entering the boat or the raft, the life craft commander will be in charge, and you must now obey the instructions given to you by the commander and crew. It's essential that you swiftly squeeze into the seat that is pointed out to you. Do not try to make extra room for yourself or leave a seat unoccupied, as this will delay the launch. Special equipment such as VHF radios, EPIRBs, and SARTs will be taken to the life craft by a bridge officer. After all the people assigned to a life craft have boarded and are seated, the order will be given to lower the boat. Let's take a closer look at this equipment. I think you'll find it interesting. Every ship has 2 emergency position indicating radio beacons known as EPIRBs. One is kept readily available on the bridge, and it is the bridge officer's duty to take it with him or her should it become necessary to abandon ship. The other is fitted on the mast with a hydrostatic release, which allows it to float free when it sinks below the water. This fail-safe arrangement ensures that an EPIRB signal will be sent out in the event of an emergency. When activated, the EPIRB emits a signal to passing satellites that gives the ship's unique identity and the position of the EPIRB, so that the search and rescue teams will be able to locate survivors. The bridge has 2 emergency VHF radios to communicate with the Coast Guard, surface vessels, and rescue craft. A second type allows us to communicate directly with any aircraft. Each ship is also equipped with 2 search and rescue radar transponders, or SARTs. These devices are kept on the bridge and are brought to the survival craft in an emergency by a designated bridge officer. Once in the survival craft, the SART, activated manually, sends a signal that is clearly visible on radar screens on board ships and search and rescue planes. Every survival craft has survival equipment on board. Each craft has at least one certified person assigned that knows all the equipment and what it should be used for. Some of the most important pieces of equipment are the sea anchor, the rescue line, the seasickness pills, water, thermal protective aids, and pyrotechnics. Let's talk about each one. By deploying the sea anchor, you will be able to stabilize the craft and slow down the speed. The rescue line. If you see people floating in the water, throw them this ring so that you can pull them over to your craft. The seasickness pills. Even if the weather is good, there is just something about being in a crowded boat or life raft with a lot of people that tends to make you sick to your stomach. So do yourself a favor and take a seasickness pill as soon as you can. Water. Pills are easier to take with water. The water is rationed in small packages so that each person gets the same exact amount. Thermal protective aids. There are enough thermal protective aids for 10% of the people in the craft. They should immediately be given to those who are wet or already suffering from cold or the effects of cold temperature. Pyrotechnics, hand flares and parachute flares help you signal your location day and night. Smoke signals will only work during the day, but they are a very effective way of marking your position to an overflying plane. We hope that you'll never need to use any of this emergency equipment you've just seen, but make sure you know what's on board and how to use it, just in case.